Good morning, everyone. In today's class, we just start with the differential equation expression of the second Maxwell's equation. So, what is the second Maxwell equation? So, first, the second Maxwell equation, which is given by C. The Maxwell equation, second Maxwell equation is what is the second Maxwell equation? So the integration form will convert it into the differentiation form. So the integration form of second Maxwell equation is nothing but b into ds is equal to 0. So what is this b into dx? The magnetic flux over a closed enclosed with a closed surface is nothing but is equal to 0, and we'll just convert this into the integration of differentiation form. So now what we'll do here is that now transforming see transforming the surface transforming surface the surface integral the surface integral into volume integral, right? So now how we are going to write this equation and how we are going to convert it, see here. Now see that something is the surface integration into volume integration. So how we'll do this by means of the uh, equation. What is that? Uh, how we'll going to convert it? See. So what actually we are doing here is that we can write it down. See, this can be written as, right? So you already know how we by using by using by using right, what you can write, Gauss divergence theorem. Gauss divergence theorem. So what the Gauss divergence theorem says, what that equation says in the previous section, integration of a into ds, surface integration can also be written as, right, integration volume integration del dot a into dv. So the same manner we just convert it into the volume integration. So here v into ds can also be written as, right, volume integration of del dot b into dv, right, employs this is actually volume integration del dot b, right, is into dv is equal to 0, right, very clearly it is given here. So as the volume integration, so what we can imply from this, very simple, right, as volume, see what we will write here as the value is arbitrary. So instead of this, see, directly I can write here. So as the value itself, so as the value is arbitrary, the value is arbitrary. So the integral, the integral, the integral must be, the integral must be 0. So right. So what I can write here, see, this is a simple derivation which we have done. So what you can write here, so the integral must be 0. So what is the meaning of the integral must be 0 here? What I can write here? So here at last what we'll write here is that, so del dot b is equal to 0. So we have just converted the see, you can just see we have converted this integration form into differentiation form. So again I'm see again I'm explaining you. So we started with the integration form of b into ds. So b into ds, we are transforming the surface integral into volume integral by using the Gauss divergence theorem. So what the Gauss divergence theorem say that the surface integration of a into ds is equal to volume integral del dot a into dv. So integration of v into ds is equal to integration of v del dot b into dv, and this employs the volume integration del dot b into dv is equal to 0. As the value is arbitrary, the integral must be 0. So del dot b is equal to 0. So we got this integration form to the differentiation form. The next integration form of Maxwell's equation. So what is that next equation? See here. Next equation is what? Third equation. What is the third equation? Everybody know this is Faraday's law. So what the Faraday's law says? See, Faraday's law. Faraday's law. So what the Faraday's law says? Integration of line integral. This is actually line integral. I is equal to, right, minus dou phi by dou phi suffix b by dou t, right. So now this is actually the Faraday's law. So we already know, see, employs what we say, the magnetic flux density, magnetic flux density, magnetic flux density, right. So what we will write, magnetic flux density can be given as B is equal to, so this is a magnetic flux density formula, flux by the area. So what is that area? Surface area, small ds. So implies flux will be equal to, flux is nothing but your phi, which will be equal to B into your area, right. This area is nothing but, we are talking about surface area. So implies total flux. See, we have to consider this, right. So therefore we are considering, so what we are considering, again I will explain you. We started the Faraday's law, surface line integration E into, we say this is actually di is there. So we said the E into di is equal to minus dou phi by dou t is Faraday's law. So what we are considering here, in the previous section, the first law we considered charge density. Here, since deal with the magnetism, so and also electricity, so on the right hand side, if we take into consideration right hand side, what is there in the right hand side? Flux. This is called flux, magnetic flux. So magnetic flux density is equal to the value of the magnetic flux density is related by the formula flux by area. So flux is equal to, this flux is nothing but, see, I'm talking about this 5, right. I'm talking about 5. Phi is equal to B into area into ds. So the total flux will be equal to how much? See here, the total flux will be equal to what? How will write total flux? Phi b. This is actually phi b, right? This is your phi b. So what we'll write here? Total flux area phi suffix b is equal to integration of surface integration b into ds. So everybody is clear with this? What we have considered? So total means integration will come b into ds, right. So here what will what you do is that we'll just substitute. Now we got y phi b value, substituting, this is equation number 1, just consider this is equation number 1. So substituting, so what is it? Substitute phi b, right, phi b in value in equation number 1. So what will get phi b value if you substitute? Integration of E into di, right, or we say dl di, right, is equal to minus surface integration b into ds, right. This is actually what you can say I di. So di integration of E into di is equal to minus s integrate surface integration b into ds. Again you can just see here, this is line integral, this is surface integral. You can just refer your intermediate books for this. So now by using Stokes theorem. So what the Stokes theorem says? Stokes theorem is used for converting the line integral to, or vice versa, line integral to surface integration. Why we are doing all these things? In order to make it uniform, right? So this equation should be in a uniform condition, right? So what is this law says? Stokes theorem. So Stokes theorem says that when there is any function, right? If there is any function, right? A into di can also be written as, can be converted into surface integration del cross A into ds. So you can just see this is the Stokes theorem, right? This I'm talking about, this Stokes theorem. So we need to convert this into this particular equation. So how I'm going to write this? You can just see. So implies this equation now will become integration of surface integration del cross E, right? Del cross E into ds is equal to minus surface integration, right? So what do you write here? Dou B by dou T. Oh, so what is this? Dou B, clear now. Now you can just see dou B by, was dou phi B by dou T. So dou phi B by, now dou phi B by dou T into ds. This is what ds, see, integrate surface integration with ds will get cancelled. See, surface integration on both LHS and RHS will get cancelled. So del cross E is equal to minus dou, so what I can write here? Dou B by dou T. Clear everybody? See, I should not cancel it out, but see, for your convenience, I'm just what I'm doing. This is getting cancelled. So what is remaining? Del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. Same thing we have written here. So right. So so what I can write here? Del cross is equal to dou by dou T. So this can also be rewritten as curl E. So in the language, physics language, is just write curl E vector language minus dou B by dou T. Now this is what we have done. Curl E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. So now we have just converted our third Maxwell equation, right? This Faraday's law, which is in the integration form, we have just converted into the differentiation form. So we'll go for the next one, that is the fourth Maxwell equation. See, what is that fourth Maxwell equation? This is somewhat, this is a bit, right? What you can say? Third one will be extended here. So B, what is Ampere's law? Integration of B into di is equal to mu naught I. That is nothing but, this is called Ampere's law. This is what? Ampere's law. So now you already know that here, why I am writing I capital I, because capital I is nothing but small I plus I into suffix d. That is the total current. It is indicating total current. So here also what we'll take is that we'll just take the current density. See, we want to convert it into the differentiation form. Integral form is there, differentiation form. So for everything that what we are doing is that we are just taking it the one density. So that is what, let us consider current density. So you already know current density is nothing but, which is given by J is equal to current. What is this current density related to mathematically? Current by area. Current by area. So current by area is what here? Now current by area. So here current J is equal to I by A, right? Can I write like this? So implies total current. See, this is, I'm talking about small current here. So the total current will be given by, see, total current, area means surface area I'm talking about. So capital total current, capital I is equal to integration of, surface integration of J into ds. Can I write like this? Right everybody? So now now my first equation, this is equation number 1. Now equation 1 will become, what will the equation 1 will become? Integration of B into di is equal to mu naught into, see what I have tried here, integration, surface integration same. Here also there is a see line integration, left hand side, right hand side surface integration. So okay, now so what I have written, B into di is equal to mu naught into J into ds. So again, see, you can just see this LHS, it is in line integration. This is called line integral. This format is nothing but it is in the line integral, and this is what, this is in surface integration. This is what your surface integration. So this should be converted either into surface integration or into line integration. LHS and RHS should be uniform. So again, by applying, by See, by applying Stokes theorem. What we'll do? By applying here Stokes theorem. See, by applying the Stokes theorem, what the Stokes theorem says? See, integration of A into di is equal to surface integration of del cross A, right, into ds, right? This is the surface integral Stokes theorem, converting the surface line integral into surface integration. Clear, everybody? Everything is clear now. See, what my equation now will become the equation. Let us consider. I am talking. See, we are talking about this equation. So equation 2. So equation number 2 now will become what? So what I write? Surface integration, right? Del cross B. Please see, concentrate it. You will easily get, right? Del cross B into ds, which is equal to mu naught surface integration of S into J into ds. Clear, everybody? So now what I can write here? This surface integration ds will get cancelled. So what you will get? Del cross B. Del cross B is equal to mu naught J, right? Del cross B is equal to mu naught J. So what this is the expression what we got, right, from this particular starting position. So now, so what is your current density? Everybody know. See, J is equal to current density is nothing but total current, right? Total, okay, again, right? Total current by A. So why again we are writing till now this is over, na? So why we need to calculate what is this J actually equal to, right? So what total current is? Total current is I plus ID, you already know, divided by A. So here, so you already know what is I here. I by, see, I individually divided plus. So what is your ID? ID is epsilon. ID you already know from Maxwell's equation, right? So epsilon naught A dou E by dou T divided by capital A. So this get cancelled. So what is remaining here? J plus epsilon naught. I by A you can already know. I by A is J. You can see current J is nothing but I by A. So I by A have written J epsilon naught. What you can write here? Epsilon naught dou E by dou T. So this is a value that I got for the total current density. So now your Maxwell equation means this is the total J value, right? So this is the total J value. So I got this capital J value, right? Now, so del cross B will be equal to mu naught into J. See, you can just see this value is nothing but, we are talking about this value. So this value is nothing but is equal to J plus epsilon naught dou E by dou T. This is what we got, right? The expression for this fourth Maxwell equation. This is the fourth Maxwell equation that we got, right? So I think that you got you had a clear idea regarding the conversion of Maxwell integration form into differentiation form, and this can also be derived by using this differentiation form can also be converted into integration form. So that you can just try in your home. And if you have any doubt regarding this conversions, please let me know, and we will just again repeat this particular thing if you have not understood this, right? So now we'll move to the next important topic here. So what is that important topic that we are doing here is that so what is that important topic? Now we'll just move to the uniform plane wave. So that is called the relationship between the total polarization value, electric displacement, and the electric field. So that actually will in today's class we just go for the again the next one, that is the uniform plane wave. So here, so we'll start with this first one. See, this topic is very important for the examination for relation between. Will ask you, the question will be like this: derive the relationship relationship between D, that is electric displacement, electric field and the polarization vector. See, electric displacement, electric field and the polarization vector. So, okay, or else I will say that discuss R, you just say this is R, discuss about plane wave, and this plane wave is nothing but, we say that is, it will have a transverse character. We'll say this is what? Transverse in nature. So this particular aspect, see, this is a completely derivation part, right? So here we are actually in this particular aspect, we'll just go for the derivation. So in order to, you see, in order to go for any derivation part, so what you need to consider, see, what we are doing here is that we are taking again the parallel plate capacitor. In the Maxwell has considered the parallel plate capacitor for modifying the Ampere's law also. Here also what we are doing is that we are taking two parallel plate capacitor. So now, so let us consider, so what are you going to start with? See, let us consider, see, we want to get the relationship between D, E and P, and we don't know anything. So what we are doing, what the Maxwell has done, he has considered a parallel plate condenser or capacitor, one and the same thing, if we say condenser or a capacitor. So filled with a, it has been filled with a, so we just discussed about the dielectric, right, in the previous classes, with a dielectric constant or dielectric material, right, which is with a dielectric material having constant value k, right. So this they consider, the scientist has considered. So what is this? This is a parallel plate capacitor. You can see this is a parallel plate capacitor. In between this parallel plate capacitor, so what are the charges here? See, this dielectric material is placed. So the parallel plate capacitor will have these charges. Definitely they are metal plates. So they will have these charges, and the charges will be induced here. So what are the charges will be induced in this, near to this particular end? Minus, and to this end you will have positive charges here. Simple, very simple to understand this, right? This is the dielectric material, dielectric material having the value k, right? These are what? These are what? Right? Parallel capacitor, parallel plate. We say that parallel plate capacitor. So understood, everybody? So what actually we are up to here? So here we need to understand what will happen to the parallel capacitor when no dielectric material is placed. So first we'll deal with this. What is the mathematics behind this? So when, we'll start with, right, when no dielectric, when no dielectric material, this is called figure 2, right? What is the figure 1? I will just draw that figure. When no dielectric material is present, this has been asked in the examination, right? Present, that is simply you'll have this type of plates, right? Plus, right? Okay, so only parallel plate capacitors, this is way, right? No dielectric is present. No dielectric material is present here. It's present, right? Right? These are the two parallel plates, right? These are the capacitor when no dielectric is present. So when no dielectric is present, what will happen? What will be the Gauss law? So Gauss law by, so what is Gauss law here? So this is given by, right, the integration form you already know, E into ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. When no dielectric is present, this is the case. So what we'll write here, what it will be when epsilon come here? See, integration of E into ds is equal to or we say when non-dielectric present, very small electricity. So I can write E suffix O into ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. So what I can write here, so here we can write either we just keep this E naught outside and then surface integration, right? ds is equal to epsilon naught, right? I can write A here, right? Right, what I can write here? Instead of this, just you can write epsilon naught. This is nothing but area. See, instead of ds, integration of ds, what I can write? Epsilon naught a means this particular aspect can be written as. So this is equation 1, equation 1. So the equation 1, the equation 1, the equation 1 now can be written as, see slowly I am going, you should understand it. So if you are not understanding, please let me know, right? Right, epsilon naught a is equal to q by epsilon, right? So now this is epsilon naught a, this is actually, what is this? Epsilon naught a is equal to, so what is the value you got? Epsilon q by epsilon naught. So now what you can write here? E naught is equal to a, sorry, this is E naught. Okay. Just a minute, sorry. So what I can write here? A capital E naught A is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So now what it will be? Your E naught will be equal to, now your E naught is equal to Q by epsilon naught into A. This is what we got the value of E naught, that is a basic electric field that we are having, right? So now, so this is what we got, the value, this is the value that we got, basic electric field which is existing when no dielectric material is present. See here, when no dielectric material is present, this is the case. E naught is equal to Q by epsilon naught A. So what will happen when electric field has been induced here? So in the next, see you can understand this, right? So what the Maxwell has considered is that in order to derive the relationship between DE and P, he has considered these two figures. When there is no dielectric material in between the two parallel plate capacitor, what will be the electric field? The electric field is, by using the Gauss law, he got that E naught, E suffix 0 is equal to Q by epsilon naught into A. This is the electric field which is existing when dielectric material is not present. So what will happen if dielectric material is present? See. So what you are going to write here? When dielectric material, when dielectric material is introduced between the parallel plates, parallel capacitors, parallel plate capacitors, parallel plate capacitors, capacitor, as shown in figure 2. So what will happen is, so we just write it down in figure 2. See, so in the figure 2 you can just see that when the capacitor is filled with the what you can say dielectric material, so what will happen to the net charge? The charge. So now we say that the net charge, previously the charge was Q, right? The net charge, now the net charge will be what? Net charge by using the Gaussian surface. The net charge within, we say that this is actually, this surface is nothing, we'll call this particular charges which is around this region as Gaussian region. We take, so Gaussian region, so the net charge, what you can say, the net charge within the net charge within the Gaussian surface, the Gaussian surface that is given by, that is given by Q, what will you write? So Q minus Q dash. So previously the charge was Q, now when the dielectric material has been introduced, then the net charge, now the charge will be Q dash. So what will happen to the total charge? Q minus Q dash will give us the total charge. Now see, if EBD, capital EBD capital E be the resultant field, total field, right? The resultant field with, right, resultant field with with within the within the dielectric, within the dielectric, that is the resultant field within the dielectric, then by using right, we will use the Gauss law, right? We'll take the help of Gauss law in order to calculate the relationship, total relationship. So what we'll write here, the Gauss law said integration of E into ds, right, which is equal to, now the total net charge is q minus q dash. You should be aware of this. Now the charge will become not only q dash but q minus q dash. So now I can write here integration of E, just take out this ds is nothing but what you'll write, you already know, E into A, right? So here just now we have written this, right? So instead of this En, so what we'll write here, so this equation, right? Now this equation, right, will become E into A is equal to q minus q dash by epsilon naught, right? So now you got this value. So what is this actual value of capital E? Capital E is equal to q minus q dash by epsilon naught into A. This is equation number, what you can say, 3. Can I write like this? Equation number 3, right? So now this is equation number 2, 3. So but dielectric constant expression, or we can say formula of dielectric constant. So what a dielectric constant says, that E is equal to, actually total E is equal to capital E suffix A by K. So when you then the dielectric constant value is given by this. Also, see, this is actually the dielectric constant value is K is equal to epsilon naught by E, right? This is the value. Actual dielectric constant is nothing but the ratio of the parallel plate capacitor electric field, right, without the dielectric constant to the with the dielectric constant. So what the value will now become, your V value, what is see, implies E is what here, what is E here? You can just see what is E. So E will be equal to your Q by epsilon naught A, right, into K. So from the equation 1, what I can write here, so here from the equation 1, what is that equation 1? Now, so total equation here will be now changed to be Q by epsilon naught A is equal to Q by, you can just see clearly, it is very easy to understand, but still if you have having any problem, let me know, right? Plus Q dash by right, epsilon naught into A. Now this is what we got. So what we will write here now. So now this is what we got actually. So now just we'll write down Q by A is equal to, epsilon can be taken on the right hand. See, epsilon will get cancelled, epsilon naught get cancelled. So what will be remaining here? See, what will be remaining? Q by A is equal to epsilon naught into Q by K epsilon naught A plus Q dash by A. This is very simple. So right, so now what is Q by A? You already know this is what actually, since the Q by charge by area is nothing but your electrical displacement, and also your Q dash by A change, the charges which has been induced, which is per unit area, is given by the ratio Q dash by Q is nothing but here P value. So here now implies Q by A is equal to epsilon naught into, this value is E and this value is P, implies, right, what you can write, D is equal to epsilon naught into E plus P. Now this is the relation what we got between D, E and P. So this, see, if you can just see this, if we'll concentrate on this particular equations, This very simple mathematics we have done. So if you're knowing these values, you will get the relationship between D, E and P. So if you have not understood again, please let me know. So in the next class, we'll just complete the next topic. Right? Thank you everyone. Thank you for the today's what class.